Hello, hello. Hello, everyone. I'm going to just make sure that everything is on. This should be a fun one. Quick one, though. I don't see it yet. Hmm. All right. I'm going to just check. I don't see it live yet. So if you're on and you see this, maybe drop a comment so I can see it. Oh, okay. There we go. Thank you. All right. This should be a fun one, quick one. Thank you for joining. So, Vase mode, like in with filament innovation. So shout out to Mike Gorski for just a beautiful printer with Icarus stuff. Also pellet printing. Hey Philip, yeah man, we're live. Perfect, thank you. And sometimes depending on what size nozzle you use, um, you might want to have some reinforcement. So how do you do that? Well, first off, I'll have to give you a disclaimer, and I'm sorry, Mike. While I love Vase mode and all that it brings, I'm not a Vase mode dude. But what I would say is there are definitely ways that I would go about solving the issue. And so I'm going to give you an idea of what I would do. But before we do, I'm going to hop on my iPad here and show you what I would do. So I've got my iPad here. I'm going to, let's see, I think so that is camera 2. And I'm going to get my big head out of the way. So here we are. So vase mode literally means you spiral round and around, stacking things on. So so it all is smooth at the top. There's no seams. Well, one thing that you want to keep in mind, especially with nozzle size, is how do you do reinforcements? And so, one of the ways that you can do reinforcements or corrugations is you break up that line by adding something that juts out. So, for instance, if you're doing something circular and you need a corrugation in a specific spot, you literally jut out like that, and then it keeps going. So this is a cross section of it. But here's the key. This line and this line, that thickness together needs to be double your extrusion width. So when you're designing and you put these ridges on, that's what you want to take a look at. So I'm going to get back out of here. So let's say maybe you want a lot of corrugation in one specific part of, say, a prosthesis or something. So I know a lot of times, especially on a transtibial sockets, like when you come over the condyles, you may want to have a little bit of stiffness for some ML stability. So you may do that in two different places, and that would look like this on the medial and lateral side, but you may add two corrugations. So you're going to have to hang in there with me. So I'm going to say this is anterior, posterior. We'll just say medial and lateral. So you've got a socket, and then you do a corrugation, come back around to the lateral side, corrugation, and then corrugation. And so in those specific areas, you're going to have double the material, which will add stiffness. All right. So what does that look like, and how do you modify for that? I'm going to hop into Freeform, and let's see what we got here. I'm going to move this over here. that there. All right, so we're going to go to my super source. So you're going to see the haptic device. We got Freeform here. So what would I do? How would I handle this? So let's just say this is a transtibial socket. I would, and we're just going to use some basic shapes right now. So a cylinder. I'm going to put that somewhere here. Maybe make it a little bit bigger, a little bit wider, and we're going to do some pretending. Okay. So you've got this, and let's just say our wall thickness is going to be 4 millimeters. So that means our uh, our corrugation needs to be 8 millimeters, or 2 times the wall thickness. So what I would do is I have these little drawing pencils here. So I would come in, and you could get, fancy if you want to. Let's just say I'm going to come here, come here, come here. So these are 2 areas that I want reinforced. And then I have this tool called the ribbon tool, and square. And we have these settings. So we want let's just take a look here. I'm going to put both of these here. So we want the thickness, the width to be 8 millimeters. And we're not going to do, we're going to do more of a squared off edge. And we might run this a little bit more vertical. Oops. Okay. We'll just roll with that. And we'll do a thickness of, we'll also say the same. Oh, we'll go 10. And we hit apply. I'm going to combine them and apply them. So the big thing is you want to make sure that while these look like hard edges, you want to keep those edges hard, because once you have that into a vase mode setting, those hard edges will become round. And so you want to keep those hard because you want this edge and this edge to be close. So if you come in and smooth this area, you may not get that closeness that you want. So then when we take a look at the cross section of this, looking at it from the top. So this is what you're after. So that line is going to come around, and then it will come here, 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 and then continue on, never break, here, 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 and then you've got 2 really good corrugations. So, now that I'm looking at this, and again, this was kind of just a fun little thing on vase mode, I probably wouldn't do it this way here. I would want these edges to be square that way, because when you're coming down and say you get to right here, that's going to work there. But let's see where it doesn't work. So right there, that's not going to work. So your slicer probably would ignore that, but I would probably clean that up in the design just to make sure. So it'll work to about right there, and then you start losing your thickness, and then you may get some weirdness going on right there. So that would be good for medial lateral of a socket. If you have a specific, say, weight-bearing area on a transfemoral socket, that would be good to do like in the containment area, which is a whole nother discussion, because what I found is that actually containing with some flexibility is actually very comfortable for the patient, very stable, and that's something that I'm wanting to look into a little bit more. I wasn't planning on doing this, but since we've got some of you guys on, let me go back to here. Oops, I want to go here. All right, I'm going to open up Simplify 3D so just we can look at this real quick. So stick with me. I'm opening up Simplify if you want to see what we've got going on. And if I miss anything, Jimmy, let me know. Again, I know there's other people that do Vase mode a lot more than I do, which is fantastic. And let me get this. I'm going to export this model as cylinder. Oops, of course. Here we go. Cylinder. And if you have any questions, drop them in the. I'll talk about anything pretty much. All right. So I've got Simplify 3D up. I'm going to bring this in. All right. So I'm going to bring this in and put this down on the plate here. So that's going to rotate around the X. So we'll say -90. And we'll center and arrange. Okay. So in Simplify 3D, and you are more than welcome to do whatever you want. So I'm going to prepare to print this. Actually, exit preview mode. So I was not expecting to do this. Let me make sure my settings are right here. Oh boy. So I have some Icarus ones. Let's go here. Change. So I'm going to say no. Sure. Okay. So we've got a nozzle diameter of 2.5. So we're going to say, and I always put 3.95. And here's the reason why. A lot of times, especially when you're doing some of the transfemoral stuff, I will actually end up shelling something at 4 millimeters so I can get the distal end real nice, especially when you're putting a lock in. The problem with that is the math for most programs on the shelling is going to be plus or minus probably 0.03, 0.04 millimeters. And so if you do 4 millimeters and it comes in the slicing program at like 3.96 or something to that effect, you're going to have a thin spot and it will not push it through. So I go 3.95 and that will pretty much cover everything and definitely close enough to 4. So if anybody has any ideas on that, let me know because that's just the way that I've been doing it all these years. So then we go to layer and then single outline corkscrew printing mode. I go okay. So let's see what happens. Well, it looks like, oh, I've got this new mouse. Diego, I don't know. I still don't know about it. Okay, so let me see if I can get in. I don't know how to move this thing. Well, we'll go here. So I must have some top layers and bottom layers, but nonetheless, let's just go through and you'll get the idea. Okay, so let's get down to that area. All right, so in vase mode, oh, there's how you pan. Hey, I figured something out. Oh, okay. So this is what you want to see in vase mode. You want to see everything spiraling around, and you can see this goes out and about, and then boom, out and about, boom. And if you've got your overlap and all that stuff set right, you will not have a seam right here. It will be perfect. So that's why you want to keep that hard edge. So anyway, I hope that helps you out. That is from somebody that doesn't do a lot of vase mode, but look how fast this thing goes. I mean, 32 minutes at a a very slow speed. I didn't even really look. I was just looking at here, but still, it's a pretty big cylinder to go on this. So, but that's how you do reinforcements, and that's what I would do. There's also some other tricks along the way that I may look at when you're looking at distal ends and the bulldog locks and that sort of thing. But there's plenty of people out there that do that. PVA Med does some of that, and I think some of the other companies are starting to do kind of that star pattern as well that PVA Med started very early on. I hope that was helpful. Have a great day, and thanks for watching.